We all strive for happiness, but happiness isn't always straightforward, as even the people who seem the happiest are the ones who suffer the most. The Faith is an episode that takes a different approach when dealing with depression. It doesn't tell you exactly what you want to hear, but it tells you what you need to learn. The episode opens with Gumball's world slowly becoming gray, as everyone around him seems to become more depressed. It's a quiet change at first. The TV goes black and white. Anais loses color. Even the cereal becomes colorless. But soon, the changes begin to take over everything.
What is going on around here?
It's like the color's been sucked out of the world.
You begin to see the chain reaction that it's causing. The lack of color is creating chaos and unease. So Gumball and Darwin decide to investigate what's actually causing the tear, or shift in reality.
What's going on here?
People begin to give up the regular activities in favor of slightly more abnormal ones, and in some cases end up battered and beaten because of it. Sadly, it's getting worse.
By the way, avoid the zoo! The kid who used to volunteer there has given up.
There's comedy, like there always is in Gumball, but it goes deeper. The closer they get to the source, the worse it gets, until even Gumball and Darwin are affected. Then they finally see the cause of everything, and it all makes sense. The reason the world is turning gray is Alan.
That makes sense. Alan.
Now, for anyone who hasn't seen Gumball yet, Alan is easily the happiest character in the show. It's not like his world is filled with only good. Gumball hates him, and there's always a point of contention between Alan, the rest of Elmore Junior High, and his relationship with Carmen. But throughout the show, he remains happy and steadfast. He sacrifices himself for other people by doing stuff like cleaning graffiti, recycling refrigerants, feeding animals, feeding the seniors, and being a scout leader. It's why everything is seen going wrong in this episode. No one's there to do the stuff that Alan usually does. But Alan always has a positive outlook, no matter how negative his world becomes or how difficult his troubles are. So what changed? What made him stop doing his routine? Well, as mentioned before, the happiest people often struggle the most internally. That's where this episode starts unpacking a raw truth. The raw truth about what happens when the person who's normally the emotional pillar for everyone around them starts giving in to their own real emotions.
If someone like him gives up, then the whole world loses his glow.
Now, Gumball is over-exaggerating things, of course, but there's some real parallels to what happens when someone's mask slips. The world doesn't suddenly turn gray for everyone around. In real life, when the most optimistic person in your life starts withdrawing, you feel it. When the one who always checks in stops replying, or the one who usually lifts the mood sits silently in the corner, it rattles the dynamic. It makes things grayer. Because whether we realize it or not, we kinda lean on these people. We rely on their mask or their energy, that consistent, comforting positivity to hold the chaos at bay. But no one can wear that mask forever.
What have you lost, Alan?
My faith in the world.
Alan isn't just tired, he's defeated. He's kept showing up, smiling, helping, but inside, he's running out of reasons to keep doing it.
No matter how much I try, the world will never be perfect.
And what makes it worse is how isolated that struggle feels. Because while everyone expects Alan to be okay, no one ever really stops to ask if he is. Until now. That's the episode's core, Alan finally admitting that he's been holding it together for too long without confronting his real feelings. But how can you deal with that? We've seen that constant positivity can be a shield, capable of fending off the dark thoughts and the ill will towards others. Does Alan just have to put his mask back on, pretend nothing's happened, and just go on and deal with it?
Goodness knows I tried to stay positive and turn the other cheek. But what happens when you run out of cheeks to turn?
Well, no, that's exhausting. Having to carry all those emotions and thoughts with you without showing them or talking to anyone about them, that'll just eat away at your energy. Gumball tries to help him, but he's ill-equipped to deal with this. He tries to solve it with sarcasm and forced humor, but it just doesn't work. No punchline can fix what's happening here. The same endless optimism Alan relied on to hold himself up won't do it anymore. Neither does trying to joke, deflect, or even awkwardly give advice. So what's the solution? The answer is that there's always a solution, and it's not a magical one. Gumball, despite its over-the-top moments, answers this question in a mundane but profound way. The answer that Gumball gives is in the form of a song, which starts by cynically admitting that yes, sometimes the world is different shades of gray. It's not perfect.
Because there's war and fighting and the bad guy often wins, so you have to find some comfort in the smallest little things.
At first, the song seems pretty depressing. Because it's true, life is far from perfect, and we sometimes just have to deal with it. We're stuck on a planet full of strangers in a universe that is largely unfeeling towards us. It doesn't bend to our every last little whim, and it probably doesn't even recognize we're here. More often than not, we're carried around by the winds and current of life, barely able to influence our own behavior, let alone the behavior of those around us.
Life ain't perfect, it's...
Life can feel like a downer, and their song points this out. It's a heavy dose of sarcastic realism that leaves you wondering, what's the point then? But then, the song takes a shift in the tiniest little way. When Alan asks how that's supposed to make him feel better, the song ends and a new one begins. This new song teaches almost the same lesson, but in a completely different perspective.
If you stop halfway up the mountain, you will never see the view.
It's not a message of blind optimism. It's resilience. A reminder that even if life knocks you down, if you keep going, there are still moments worth holding onto and experiencing.
So keep following the light, no matter how much your heart aches.
But if you follow the light, then no matter how much you suffer, you'll still find those genuine moments that shine through. The world is not going to magically change itself to be perfect for you. You have to realize that everything that can happen in life isn't perfect, and you have to love it anyway. And finally, that's what brings color back to Elmore. Not perfection, neither Alan fixing everything or putting on that mask again when they don't want to, just a quiet decision to keep trying to live with the cracks instead of hiding them, because the world doesn't need Alan's mask. The world needs his heart. Alan finally understands. He regains hope as he's finally allowed himself to be real about the ups and the downs.
Take my hand and you will find life is beautiful, my friend.
That's exactly what makes life so perfect. Because who are we to define what perfect is, really? If the color in your own world starts to fade, whether it's your hope that falters or the hope of the person you rely on, what would help bring it back? Certainly not putting the mask back on and putting the weight of others on your own back as well. Pretending you can't see the flaws in the world and yourself won't work forever. The real truth is that removing the mask isn't a weakness. It's the beginning of something much stronger, like building a form of happiness that doesn't break or crumble when faced with the harsh nature of reality. When you're able to take your optimism, your sense of happiness, and admit that it's not perfect, but it's the best you've got, and you're gonna hold onto it in spite of everything, then you're able to confront that darkness and survive in spite of it. This is the lesson Gumball teaches in The Faith. Even though you can't make the world perfect, you can live out your own perfection despite everything imperfect around you. And if anything is imperfect, it's young love, which we actually have a video on too, so if you want to learn about one of the most eye-opening truths about connection, go ahead and click here. And please give us a like, a comment, and a subscription. We'll see you in the next video.